Hey there, cinephiles. Steven Spielberg is one of the most iconic directors of all time, and this week he has a new movie coming out called The Fabelmans. In honor of it, I decided to rank my top 10 Steven Spielberg movies. In preparation for this video, I watched 24 of his 33 films. This took a lot of time and work to watch, but it was definitely worth seeing the arc of his career. Spielberg is a masterful director. He knows how to show and get genuine reactions from not only the characters in his film, but the audience as well. And if you don't think I'm qualified to do so, he actually praised my film school, so no big deal.
There's also a program underway right now, Jane, where Universal Studios has funded Valencia Community College in one of the greatest programs for training young filmmakers and technicians.
Before I get into my rankings, I do want to touch on some honorable mentions. Some films that just missed the cut were Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, The Post, and The Terminal. All films I'd easily rewatch and almost made the 10 spot. But now, time for my top 10 Steven Spielberg films of all time. Number 10. Starting off at number 10 is a recent first watch of mine, which is Munich. This is as gray as a film can get. There's no black and white, as it's meditative and attempts to look for humanity in every single messy situation. A mature film from Spielberg that left a pit in my stomach. If you haven't seen this one yet, you totally should. I know not many people know about this, but it's an important film in the director's catalog. Number 9. My number 9 would have been a lot higher if it wasn't for one single aspect. It's a great film that ends up being knocked down because of one actor not being up to par with the rest of the cast. My number 9 is West Side Story. Literally, Ansel Elgort is out-acted in every scene he's in. The rest of the cast has such good energy, and thank goodness Ariana DeBose won Best Actress at the Academy Awards, following in the footsteps of Rita Moreno. Overall, this is one of Spielberg's best shot films. The movement is so well done, and it has one of my favorite shots of 2021 when Tony is standing on a reflecting puddle of lights. Either way, this movie makes me want Spielberg to make more musicals. He definitely has an eye for it. Number 8. At number 8, I have Lincoln. It is a film that shows what Spielberg believes America and its government can be and has been at times. His idealism comes across his portrait of the time that Lincoln is trying to get the 13th Amendment passed. Daniel Day-Lewis has such a great performance. It's one that blurs the line between character and actor, which makes sense why he won Best Actor at the Oscars that year. But also, this movie kind of flies by too. This film is 2.5 hours, yet it doesn't feel long at all, even with the not so great ending. This is probably one of his most dad films, but I like dad movies. Number 7. This might be the biggest controversy on this list, but I have the first blockbuster at number 7. That's right, it's Jaws. The first on this list that is considered to be iconic, and it's literally his second feature film. This showed that Spielberg had massive potential, which of course he did meet and even exceeded. Jaws features a fantastic theme, a heart-pounding score that scares you more than the shark itself. It's a huge feat for how great Jaws turned out, and it's a masterclass for upcoming directors. And let me mention the trio of Brody, Quint, and Hooper, a really captivating group, all being on different ends of personalities and lives lived, coming together against a shark, and it's just very well done and entertaining. It was hard to put it so low, but I just like 6 films more. Number 6. E.T. the Extraterrestrial is a film that I actually got to see in full for the first time not so long ago. And I got to see it for the first time on the big screen in IMAX with a bunch of my friends. And it was a truly magical experience. As ugly as E.T. is, he is just adorable and a wonderful creature that I wish was real. He also pulls off a top 10 look of all time. I just really want to take a second and thank John Williams for being the premier collaborator with Spielberg. Especially because this score in IMAX was gorgeous. I rarely, if ever, had a more magical experience than the final act of this film. In general, it's a personal story of boy meets alien and their connection that transcends humanity. I can't wait to watch this film again and hopefully on the big screen too. Number 5. The most personal on a religious and spiritual level for Spielberg, I have Schindler's List at number 5. This was a really tough watch, as the terrifying and horrific things done to Jewish people during the Holocaust that are depicted or referenced in this film is unspeakable, but deservedly needing to be shown. Directing these atrocities and the glimmer of hope that was Schindler's story must have been incredibly hard for Spielberg, especially including the actual people who lived through these events at the end of this film. Spielberg's own journey with his religion had been so strained because of how much he was bullied as a kid that he felt embarrassed to be Jewish. And deciding to make this film was a way for him to get in touch with that side of himself and work through some tough feelings and thoughts. I mean, the man said it himself, movies is his therapy, and you clearly see that in this film. Schindler's List is a heartbreaking and poignant portrait of the time period that almost feels like a documentary, and there are some stunningly crafted moments in this film that you'll always remember. Number 4. Coming in at number 4 is a team up with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. That's right, Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's just pure cinema fun. This is a cheesy and rambunctious B-movie that is so expertly made. There's still a lovable and scrappy character with depth in Indiana Jones that fits perfectly with the over-the-topness of the action and dialogue. The way Harrison Ford brings this character to life with his charm and charisma, there's just no one else that could have done it. And because of that, he's an icon in cinema history. Also, there's a Nazi monkey. Do with that information what you will. Some shots in this film are also just amazing, and I can't forget to mention the score too. Once again, thank you, John Williams. Indy's theme has been stuck in my head for days after rewatching this. Number 3. Saving Private Ryan from 1998 is a brutal and suspenseful depiction of the horrors of war. How it twists men and brings out horrible things in people while also having regular people go through hell for basically anything. I felt so uncomfortable with the atrocities shown on screen, but in the best way possible. This is so well done because of how much I cared for the characters, even despite the Mark Sinclair jump scare. I know too that this is a personal film for Spielberg, as he said he made it for his father, who was a World War II vet. Even though they had a strained relationship, it was really touching that he made this one for his dad, and it was such a fantastic film. This coming out post Schindler's List does help with the maturity and craftsmanship of this film and subject matter. There's a great performance from Tom Hanks too, who holds this down, and generally overall everyone is believable as their characters. I know this movie hooked me well because there's a decision by a character that still enrages me every time I see it. Number 2. The blockbuster to beat all blockbusters. My number 2 is Jurassic Park. You want to talk about iconic? Jurassic Park is so iconic, from the score to the characters to the logo / poster to so many damn things about it. I can make a whole video about this film alone. We need to talk about the fantastic year that Spielberg had in 1993. With Schindler's List and Jurassic Park, to be so versatile within a year is actually insane. And not only to be so versatile, but for how great these two films are is even better. It's something I will forever strive to achieve. But back to Jurassic Park, it is so damn good. The themes are so perfectly exemplified in the spectacle and horror of the dinosaurs. This is low-key a sci-fi horror film with a lot of action and adventure to cover it up, but it still makes time for some beautiful and well done character work throughout the film. I mean, you get a great arc for Alan Grant, going from someone not even liking the thought of a kid to being a great caretaker / father figure doing an insane event. Now, I would understand if this was your number 1, there's some beautiful craftsmanship to it, but there's just one more film from Spielberg that I love so much more. Number 1. At number 1 is a movie that I don't think many people even realize is Spielberg, but it's Catch Me If You Can. It's a Christmas movie that is so damn entertaining, starring Leonardo DiCaprio as a young con artist and Tom Hanks as the agent chasing after him. There's so much to love about this true story adaptation. You get a fantastically charismatic performance from Leonardo DiCaprio, and probably my favorite of his. Not only is he charismatic, but he has this yearning and loneliness that exudes from his character in a way that doesn't feel cheap. Tom Hanks too has a very fun and deeper than meets the eye performance. An interesting accent for sure, but Tom Hanks loves accents, doesn't he? As for the story, it's already entertaining enough as a premise, but to capture this unbelievable story and to make it believable and sweep you up with the wonder and awe while still making it so sentimental is something that only Steven freaking Spielberg can do. In the end, this is the epitome of how Steven Spielberg works as a filmmaker, and how powerful and memorable he will always be. This is one of my favorite films of all time, and this is my favorite Steven Spielberg movie. So those are my top 10 Steven Spielberg movies of all time. Let me know your favorite films of his down in the comments below. Also, let me know your least favorite Spielberg movie. Mine's 1941. I had a lot of fun watching these movies and making this video, but it was truly a lot of work, so please share this video. As always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Stay tuned for more Yeti Films content, and I'll watch you later.